Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Maria Quadros, real estate agent here in the state of California. First and foremost, thank you to everyone that sent me just a little bit of feedback as to how I can improve these videos for everybody watching out there. So I just wanted to say, because I guess I forgot on my last video, most of what I will speak of applies only to California. I don't know the laws anywhere else. I do not know the time frames anywhere else. I do not know regulations in any other state except the state that I do real estate in, which happens to be California. With that being said, I appreciate anything that you guys have for me so that I can make this better for you guys. Keep them coming and I will take everything into consideration. Today, I am going to be talking about just important time frames and how would I advise any of my clients during a transaction. Keep in mind that just because this is how I advise one client doesn't mean that other agents will do this the same. We are each our own agents. We all guide our clients differently. At the end of the day, the purpose is always the same, to make sure that we are knowledgeable enough for them, that we can guide them in the correct way, that we help them with their biggest decision, which could be selling or purchasing a home. My personal advice to you can or cannot apply, and that's okay. Everybody might not do every transaction exactly like me, and it's just important to know that with every transaction, everything can change. We learn from each and every one of our transactions. Not one is ever the same. Every person, every family that we work with, they all have different wants and needs, and we have to be the voice of reason or the advocate that just guides them in the right way. So this is just my advice as I would give it to any buyer or seller that I would be working on. So today we are talking about time frames. So what are time frames? Usually in any transaction that you are in for real estate, we have a certain amount of time frames. For a buyer, the biggest concern is always, how many days do I have so I won't lose my deposit? Deposits are so important. Nobody wants to lose any money in a transaction. So I always tell my buyers, it's very simple. We have 17 days. 17 days from the day we open escrow to make sure that we do our due diligence and we get our home inspections done, we get that appraisal ordered, we ask for any repairs that might be needed in a property. If you need a roofer to go out there, we have 17 days to do any kind of inspection that you want done on the home. In the state of California, everything is sold in as-is condition, and just because you're doing a home inspection does not mean that the seller is going to do all your repairs. The biggest misconception that we have nowadays is a home inspection is so that we can ask for repairs. No, let me clarify. A home inspection is typically done so that you, the buyer, is aware of the condition that you are receiving the home in. I always tell my buyers, it is for you to know the condition that you are going to get the home in. We can ask for repairs even though they have said the house is being sold in as-is condition. However, that does not mean that they are going to fix everything. For me, my biggest concern and my biggest thing is safety first. If there is a safety issue or a hazardous issue for the home, I always ask that we ask for those things to be repaired. Sellers, I get that you're selling your house in as-is condition, completely understood. However, if you are taking an offer that is being financed, no matter what, there will be certain things that the lender, meaning the appraiser, has called out that need to be fixed prior to you closing escrow, which means that you will not be able to close escrow if those things are not fixed. So if you choose not to fix them and the buyer chooses not to fix them, no matter what, you can't finance that property. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a canceled transaction, which is something we don't want. Typically, an appraisal will only call out safety and hazardous issues as well. smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, water heater straps. It's everything for a safety of the new family moving in. So I always try to tell everyone safety and hazardous issues are just things that need to get fixed. So what are our time frames? So you have 17 days to do all your inspections. I advise that if your offer gets accepted during the week, instead of waiting 17 days, you just get that home inspection done that weekend. You already know right away, once you get that home inspection, whether or not you're going to be okay with the condition that the home is in. Don't be afraid. Anytime we get a home inspection report, people freak out. They see red everywhere. Yes, everything's highlighted in red that a home inspector feels is important. But they're also trying to cover themselves, making sure that they let you know what their findings are. That doesn't mean that the house is going to fall apart. It doesn't mean that they haven't done their job by telling you what else to fix if they didn't do this or they didn't do that. It's just so you're aware of the condition. Sometimes the home inspector is only a general inspector. He does not specialize in roofs. He does not specialize in plumbing. So they will recommend other inspections to be done on your property. And then you have additional days to do those recommendations or to get contractors' bids so that you are aware of how much it will cost to fix all those issues for the home. Now, why do I say the home inspection first? Simple. It'll cost you anywhere from $250 to $350 to get your home inspection out of the way and for you to know the condition that you're getting a home in, as opposed to you get your appraisal done, which is about $600 that you have to pay, and then you get your home inspection done, which is another $300. So you're close to $800 to $1,000, just depending on what lender or what home inspection company you use. And then if you choose not to move forward, that is non-refundable money back to you, the buyer. So I always say home inspection first. If you feel it's just going to be too much, you have the time to just say, you know what, this house doesn't fit, and you just can back out of the deal and you can move forward and find another house. Just be aware, buyers, it does not matter which home it is. All of them will have something that needs to be fixed. Even brand new construction can have issues on it, okay? So 17 days to do all your home inspections. That does not mean that permits or anything is checked. You have 17 days to go to the cities, check if anything's permitted. Why do agents typically not do that for you? It is simple. We are not home inspectors. We are not builders. Some of us don't know how to read permits. Some of us want to make sure that you get the correct information, and the best person to give you the information regarding legal units, additions, illegal additions, square footage of the home is the actual city building and safety, where the plans are for the property you are purchasing. Our job is to guide you, tell you where to go, see what is important to you, and either go with you or give you the information so that you can go get that information yourself. You're entitled to check for pedophiles in the area. You can check for soil. You can check for plumbing. You can check for roof. I mean, all inspections, you just can't tear out walls. You cannot pull rugs. There's certain things you just cannot do, and your agent will be there to guide you and tell you what you can and cannot do during your inspection timeframes. Aside from that, you have 21 days to get your loan approved. What does that mean? By the 21st day of the day that you have opened escrow, at that period of time, you should have done all your inspections. You should be fully approved by the lender. They should have a full approval on your loan and should be ready to submit that loan for loan docs. At that point, typically, you have signed a form saying that you give up the right to your deposit, which is called an EMD, and you initially is the money that you put into escrow when opening your transaction. After that 21st day, it is very difficult to back out of a transaction, and you run the risk of actually losing your deposit. By then, you should know more or less what your payment will be, what your interest rate will be, what your APR will be. Now, there's always a confusion. They say, what's my payment? They told me this at the beginning, and now it's this at the end, and it's not adding up. Okay, something that everybody needs to know. When purchasing a house, the interest rate is quoted to you, meaning that they have quoted you a rate based on where the current market is, but rates can go up or down at any time. With that being said, you are not locked in on a rate until you have full approval of your loan. So it's typically about 15 days or so into your loan. If rates have gone up within those 15 days by even a quarter percentage and your ratios, meaning you were already very tight on the purchase price, there is a possibility that you might not qualify for that property now. So we do not give you specific numbers until we are closer to the end of escrow, because your rate hasn't been locked. Things could have changed. Credits might have been given. Credits might have been taken away. Escrow fees have been calculated for when you're closing. So it takes some time. So just please be aware that that's why every time you speak with an agent or lender, they always say it's an estimate. You will not know exactly what your exact payment will be until about 7 days or so prior to you getting keys to your property, just because at that point they've locked in the rate. They know when you're closing escrow. We are aware of what your taxes are, what your title is. You have chosen a home insurance by then, and every home insurance is different. Each one has a different cost, and that affects your payment as well. So that's why everything is estimated. So you have 21 days from the day you open escrow for your loan to be fully approved and you to be able to move forward and have escrow and everything move and proceed for you to be able to sign loan docs. Agents. Something that we always typically tend to forget, and thank you, Sierra, for telling me to mention this to everyone, is our final inspection. Final inspection is not required, okay? It is not required, but it is highly recommended. It is recommended that it be done 5 to 7 days prior to you closing escrow, but it is not contingent upon you doing it so that escrow can close. So just be aware, buyers and sellers, that it is not, they could waive the option, but that will not hinder them closing the deal. It is just highly recommended, and it's highly recommended 5 to 7 days, because you want to make sure that the home is still in the same or better condition if there was any repairs done to the property from the time that you personally saw the property for the very first time. So it's 17 days, it's 21 days. I always say get the home inspection out of the way right away within the first 5 to 7 days, at most 7 days, so that you already know the condition of the property, if you'll be able to live with those conditions, so that it gives you time to go get a contractor and see what it will cost for you to fix any of those issues that might be important to you, because what might be important to me might not be as important to you. I might just need certain things and be able to survive or be okay with fixing them later on, but for you it might be extremely important. So we really have to keep in mind that every family is different. That's why it's so important to get this done on a timely manner. After that 17 days, you do run into risk of actually losing your deposits, and the last thing we want to do is have anybody in a transaction lose their money. It leaves a very bitter feeling for a lot of people, and sometimes when these things are not explained, we run into situations where we are discouraged from purchasing ever again, or putting our home on the market again because it didn't work out with that first buyer, or you felt your agent didn't guide you correctly. Any questions, concerns, anything you would like to learn, please type it down on where you leave messages. This is still new to me, so thank you, Art, for reminding me to ask everyone to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button below. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Give me some feedback on what you thought about this video, and let me know if there's anything that you would like to know about. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you, and have a great day. Love you guys.